So I've come from Australia, but I've also come from the future, yeah? And I've come to share with you my vision of the media future, okay? I have seen what will dominate the households of the Netherlands 15 years from now, yeah? In the year 2033, and all the way from here until there. So you ready? I'm going to give you a high-tech insight. Here it is, the device of the future. For those of you that don't recognize this device, we've been talking a lot about laptops and phones and shit. This is called a television, yeah? It's a television. And you might be surprised that this is the future device, because if you've been to events like this, you know, someone has spoken to, someone young and more beautiful than me and thinner, usually without any socks, has turned up and told you that the future is digital video, yeah? Digital video. Well, that turns out to be total fucking horseshit, yeah? No, it does. It has its place in the ecosystem. It has its place, but it's a little place, like the little screen it goes with. It's not very useful, particularly when there's more than one person. It's really hard to get video advertising onto it because we can get away from it, yeah? And so it turns out that this device continues to be the dominant source of video for all Dutch people, or most of them, for the next 15 years. Now, before the TV people in the room start getting very excited about that, there's a problem. And the problem is, I can guarantee you in 2033 that this is the dominant technology for video and video advertising. But I can't guarantee you that it will be the TV stations that will be dominating. I don't know what's going to be on that screen. That bit is not clear, because that bit is really the game we now play. The next 10 years is a war. We keep talking about how digital media grew at the expense of traditional media. That's not fucking true. If you just look at the data, digital media grew at the expense of only one place: news media. Radio, outdoor, TV did not give up much, if anything. News media was sacrificed. There's no more money in news media advertising. They've taken it all. So now the digital ecosystem will come for television, partly because this shit doesn't really work, and partly because they still have to grow, and the only place left to grow is TV. And this is the war that we now go into. And so they will come for television, the big digital players. They're already trying, yeah? But they face a challenge, and it's an intriguing challenge, and it's a challenge I call televisibility. Now, the Dutch speak great English, better than the English, but that's a word I've just made up, okay? And what it means is, it turns out the TV people in the room, who are very creative and usually drunk and, you know, slightly enigmatic, are also really fucking good at making TV programs. And they make it look easy, but it's not easy. And what we're finding is, these companies, as big as they are struggling. Netflix isn't really a digital company. It was always a TV or a DVD company. Its DNA is in TV. But these other guys, not so true. Amazon, YouTube, Facebook, they have no competence for TV, so they have to learn. And so far, it's tough. You may have read about the coverage of particularly Amazon's attempt to show the US Open in America. It broadcast the US Open on its site, and it was described as dog shit. It was one of the worst broadcasts of all time. It's hard to make TV. They will learn how to do it so they can get on the TV set, and the game is afoot. Meanwhile, however, we have a challenge on the other side. And the challenge on the other side is TV stations learning to digitize themselves. Clearly, broadcast is nearly over. Yeah? Broadcast, this word that came from the late 19th century, throwing seeds upon a field, is about to stop. Yeah? And the challenge for TV companies all over the world is what I call digitization. Right now, if you buy a new TV, it's the worst fucking customer experience in the history of TV. Yeah? We have 6 remote controls, apps that don't work, things that don't connect to some other things. It's bullshit, right? We have to quickly, in the TV industry, learn how to get this shit right, to be as good as that Swedish dude from earlier, right? Not because there's much money in it yet. There's a little bit. Even Matthias was saying, only 50% of his total digital video is happening off TV. Most of it's still happening on TV, but because this is the future. Right now, our apps are shit. Yes? According to the customers. I'm sorry to pick on RTL, where one of those handsome gentlemen is the CEO of RTL. It's just the first one I could find. But they're all shit, right? They all score like 2 or 1 out of 5, right? Customers say the same things. I don't really understand Dutch, but they're all just saying basically shithouse in Dutch, right? We have to fix this because this is the future. Right now, and it's not just RTL, all the TV stations have shit apps, yeah? They're so shit, for example, the burp and fart piano, right? That turns your phone into a burp and fart piano, which costs like €6 to make, is better than any TV app in the world, yeah? That would worry me if I worked in TV, yeah? Maybe you should hire the guy that built the burp and fart piano to build your next app. And what worries me is the TV industry, for all of its strengths, has not marketed itself well, yeah? You fucking dominate video, and most of the people in this room who work for agencies and clients don't even know that. That's a trouble, yeah? We failed in our marketing. This is the 2017 data from a representative sample of Dutch households, yeah? Gathered by independent measurement, yeah? And what it tells you when you zoom into it is 94% of all video, on average, for the average Dutch person, comes from a television. 94%, yeah? And yet, we still have these rumors of TV's death. And yet, we're still investing heavily in all of our alternatives that really have no comparison point. Now, I know what you're thinking. When you see that 94%, you clients out there, you agencies out there, you go, oh, 94%, yeah? You think something. And I'll tell you what you think. The first thing that comes into your head, right? And to explain the first thing that comes into your head, I have to tell you a bad joke. How many marketers does it take to change a light bulb? Millennials. Because the answer to every fucking question in marketing is millennials, yeah? When I showed you the 94%, admit it, most of you, that's not true about millennials. Millennials are different. They're multicultural and cool. Yeah? They're always looking at their iPads, yeah? And that's partly true. They do watch less TV, and they get less of their video from a television. It's only 72%, according to last year's representative data. 72%, yeah? Again, it's the dominant source of video for millennials, TV, yeah? They don't like to admit they watch TV, but they watch a fuckload of TV, it turns out, according to the data, yeah? Something else, they're not going to stay like this. Yeah? They're going to go through something we marketing professors called getting older, yeah? I look like that sort of once, yeah? I was young once. I used to do stuff I don't do now. I used to drink heavily 5 nights a week, yeah? I used to have sex with different people, yeah? All the time. I used to play sport effectively, yeah? And then I got old. And so I sat my fat Australian ass down in a sofa 6 nights a week and I did this. With my equally fat, exhausted Australian wife. And we bonded by doing this. Turns out that's a really fucking great audience, yeah, for advertising. You know these active, cool people running around with their phones? It's a fucking terrible audience for delivering video advertising to, as the data shows. And then, the apocalypse. They're going to have children. Fuck, right? The best thing that ever happened to television. These children arrive, they switch them on at 6 a.m. and they don't switch off till 7 p.m. And then, for 3 fleeting hours, we sit our fat asses in the sofa and watch TV. Yeah? It's not cool and it's not trendy, but by Christ, it's a brilliant way of getting to a huge swathe of the population. And yet, we get this bullshit. Every day. Some numpty in the marketing press, in the media press. Why traditional media doesn't reach millennials and how to reach them. First of all, there's no such thing as fucking traditional media. Have you not noticed? It's all digital now, right? First of all. And second of all, I've just shown you the data. This numpty could have looked at the data too. It's freely available. 72% of video comes from a television. How is that possible? It's possible because we live in a post-truth world. Stay in the light. Yeah? Post-truth. Relating to people using gut over and above actual reliable data, yeah? And Tim, who was here before from Ubiquity, Ubiquity is the shits, right? They are independent. They don't give a fuck, right? They really are independent. They had an interesting piece of research last year. Now, this is in the UK, so it might be different in Holland, but I bet it's not. They tried to find out what's important to clients, yeah? And these are the big five. And this is done with a max diff, which is a really hardcore, advanced quantitative method. I'm not asking clients what they want. I'm getting them to make choices and deriving their priorities. And it's done on an index of 100. So the more above 100, the more powerful this is in driving your media choices. The top one is targets the right people in the right place. Number 2, increasing campaign ROI. Number 3, an emotional response. Number 4, increasing brand salience, awareness. And number 5, reach. I'll come back to these points, yeah? These are the big boys, yeah? This is what should drive you guys to choose one media over another. Now, there's other factors that are less important, but they're the big 5 in a total of 12 attributes. And so what Ubiquity did then was they asked this representative sample of marketers, how do you rate the top 10 media, advertising media, against these 12? And they created a weighted score for each one. And this is the mindset of British marketers, and I'll bet you Dutch marketers too. Top of the pile is TV, along with the other big 2, online video and social media, which pretty much fits where most developed markets, including the Netherlands, spend most of their money. But then Ubiquity did something more interesting. They went through the last 4 years of global research, econometrics, published studies, and they worked out what the reality was. Not what the perception of marketers is. How do these 10 media actually perform on these 12 attributes? Independently done by Ubiquity, who are straight. And this is reality. Reality, perception. Yeah? Marketing, what's really happening. And you straight away see some big disparities. These 2 big tools that we all keep telling you, they're not useless, but you're over-fucking doing them. They're not as good as they're telling you. Online video and social media, they have their place, but it's way down from where it should be. And then there's some tools that have done a fucking useless job of marketing themselves. Radio, yeah? Radio. It's not good news for radio. This is bad news. You couldn't market your way out of a paper bag, right? Newspapers, magazines. We have lost the war. We have lost you, yeah? We were outsold and outpositioned by Facebook and Google. And they deserve congratulations. They did a better job than everyone you've seen on this stage. They convinced you of something that was slightly true, but not really that much true. And TV. If you look at the actual reality, TV above the average is a gigantic strength. And yet, its perceptual victory is not that big. So, let me explain this. No one else can explain it to you. Why is it you keep spending money on stuff which isn't that effective, and if you look at the objective data, actually isn't the best thing for your brands? I don't think you're doing anything illegal. I think you've made, most of you, a big error based on market orientation. So, at Think TV, which is the TV association in Australia, they did a big piece of research last year where they looked at a representative sample of Australian agencies and marketers. You guys, but in Australia. And they looked at who actively used the different digital platforms. And this should look pretty much like you guys, right? About 46% of Australian media people are on Twitter, yeah? About 47% are on Snapchat, 79% on Instagram, and so on. But then they compared it with a representative sample of normal people, yeah? Not media people, yeah? Normal people, yeah? And this is what they found, yeah? And this is what they found. From regular, everyday people that aren't urban, that aren't single, that aren't well paid, yeah? That have 4 kids, yeah? That are bakers and builders and unemployed people. The real normal people, yeah? There's a bit of this going on, but not half as much as there is in Adland. Now, that's not a problem. We didn't hire you to be like the customers you target. That's not what marketing is. The problem comes when we ask the advertising people to estimate how many normal, average people are on Twitter. And you know what they said? That is problematic. Because you've forgotten the first fucking rule of marketing. You are not the customer. The customer is the customer. You're a marketer. Your friends are marketers, media people. They're totally unrealistic, unrepresentative, digital, professional people. No time to watch TV. Sure. But when you look at the data, the actual representative data, these are the real people, the people you're targeting. And we see it again, and again, and again, and again. This is the reason we've overpaid on digital video and social media, because we're buying media for ourselves, not for the target customers that represent the whole of the Netherlands. So, I work with a lot of brands. What am I advising them to do for 2019? I have something here which is hot, yeah? I pointed my groin then, I didn't mean to do that. I have something here, as far from my groin as I can get, which is hot, okay? So, I'm a traditional marketer, yeah? I believe in segmentation, targeting, and positioning. That's what I've been doing for 20 years. It works real well with my clients. I find segments, I target them with them, we position to them, we make lots of money, which is the point of marketing. But I keep meeting people like this. This is Bruce McCall. He used to be the CMO at Mars. And he said a few years ago, I'm not a great believer in targeting. Our target is about 7 billion people on the planet. Then Mark Pritchard turns up, the most important marketer in the world, head of P&G's marketing, and says, we've targeted too much, and we went too narrow. Why are these marketers suddenly going after everyone and giving up on targeting? And the answer is because of this man, Byron Sharp. Byron Sharp. My arch nemesis. The Dark Lord of penetration. Byron Sharp, most famous marketing professor in the world, has written a very boring but very successful book called How Brands Grow. And in it, he talks about sophisticated mass marketing and the idea of embracing the fact we should maybe go after everyone. And so, exactly a year ago, we had a debate, Professor Sharp and myself, at the Festival of Marketing in London. We got 3,500 marketers in a room, and we went at it for an hour. Me pushing the case for targeting, him pushing the case for sophisticated mass marketing. And at the end, the audience voted. Now, it wouldn't be appropriate to tell you what that result was or how it ended up. But, I smashed him. Come on, I fucking smashed him. Look, I fucking smashed him, right? Woo! Yeah! Fuck him. No. He's really done a great job. He really has. So who wins this debate? Is it me talking about targeting, or is it Byron talking about sophisticated mass marketing? Here's who I think really wins the debate, and here's who changes your life as a marketer. I think the winners of that debate are these two old boys here. If you don't know who they are yet, you're about to find out. Their theory is the dominant theory of our remaining careers as marketing and media people. It is the great work we've been waiting for. Peter Field and Les Burnett, account planners from the UK, have written a book called The Long and the Short of It, and it's going to change your life. Yeah? It's changed my life and my client's life already. It's incredibly simple, but it's going to change the way we do branding and advertising and marketing. Let me give you an introduction. It's not my work, it's theirs, but I love it already. So, this is the most famous chart in marketing. If you haven't seen this yet, if I'm your first, remember me. Because you're going to see this chart, I promise you, 10 times in the next year. This is the chart of marketing. So, on the y-axis, this is the sales uplift that your campaign creates. On the x-axis, this is the time in which that campaign runs. Now, what Field and Burnett observe is that most of you in this room are doing short-term sales activation. You've got very bright, very well-meaning junior people doing click-through rates on Excel on a daily basis. How's the campaign working? It's working really good. Click-through rates are up to 0.6, right? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. But the point they make is there's another approach, longer-term brand building. And the point they make is if you happen to be, as most of you are, alas, short-term, you look at things from a 6-month or 12-month window, it looks like those little spreadsheet jockeys, they're giving you better efficiency and better effectiveness. They're not. They're just giving you better efficiency in the short-term window. If you look at the big picture, you actually are missing out because you don't have long-term brand building. Now, this doesn't mean stop this short-term sales activation. It doesn't mean get rid of the red line. There is no long without short. It means you must do both, and most of you aren't right now. You're doing more and more of the short, and you don't have a long 2-3 year brand plan. You're losing money because of that, yeah? If you take a long-term view. The way I've always put it is your brand is a tree. You need to water the tree, and you need to pick the fruit. But most of you, like most marketers around the world for the last 10 years, have been watering it less, but picking more fruit. But the tree is an important metaphor. It's just one funnel. Tofu, top of funnel, bofu, bottom of funnel. You're going after the bottom of the funnel, but the top is drying up. Balance is important between short and long. And the famous ratio that Field and Burnett are proposing, based on thousands of case studies, is that the optimum number is 60-40. You need 60% of your budget on long-term brand building and 40% on short-term activation. If you want to make the most money. If you're not interested in that, you carry on with your short-term me. But if you want to make more fucking money and you're prepared to give us 2 years, this is the path. What they actually say is if you work in lower involvement, less differentiated businesses, the ratio goes back to about 50-50. But if you work in higher involvement, more differentiated businesses, financial services, for example, fashion, it moves to 75 long, 25 short. And I've taken clients on that journey this year. It's a shocker, but it starts to actually have an impact. So here's my key point. If you look at the short-term stuff, yeah? Field and Burnett, again, have done analysis of thousands of cases. You can target customer segments, non-customers, or everyone. The best return for short-term activation is targeting segments. But if you look at the long-term brand building stuff, the thing that gives you the best return is going after everyone. So back to my point about Byron and myself, long and short. We were both right all along, yeah? I'm right about 40% of the time on average. You want 40% of your budget on short-term activation, product-based. It's going to be mostly digital because it's beautifully targeted. Later on, we'll do it with programmatic, and later on, we'll do it with addressable. But right now, I'd spend it on digital, short-term activation, targeted, product-based. But 60% of your budget should be a nuclear explosion, and it should be emotional, and it should be top of funnel, and it should hit everyone all the time. It shouldn't be product-based. It should be about your brand. And my point to you is, if you think about what long-term requires, which is reach and emotion, TV wins. Yeah? TV wins. The reach of television in the Netherlands is unprecedented. Yeah? If you start a campaign today, you'll reach 72% of the population. By the end of the week, 92%. By the end of the month, 96%. And I'd argue that remaining 4%, you don't really want them anyway. Yeah? Reach, what you want. You want the biggest explosion? Go for TV. And emotion. It's very hard to get emotional about search advertising, yeah? Very hard to get emotional about them little pokey videos on Facebook. TV. 58% of British consumers say TV is the most emotional medium. The combination of search and emotion makes TV the predominant tool, if you can afford it, for the long of it. So, what emerges is a list of tools which are good for short-term activation, and a list of tools led by TV which are awesome for the longer term. And my point to you is not do more TV, but first of all, come back to long-term brand building. Not because it's cool, not because you should, because it will make you more money, and that's the point, yeah? But this is awfully 2015. One tool's better than another tool. Let me let you into a secret, even though we're at Screenforce, yeah? All this fucking bullshit about digital versus traditional, digital TV versus TV, it's all horseshit. There is no superior tool. The answer to the question, digital video versus TV, is yes and yes. Look at the most successful campaigns of the year. In the UK, there's no doubt which campaign's winning all the awards. It's the story of KFC, yeah? KFC got a new distributor this year, and unfortunately, that distributor's not very good at delivering chicken. Bit of a problem. So they ended up for about 6 weeks without any chicken, yeah? Lots of TV interviews with English people that really shouldn't eat any more fried chicken, saying they miss their fried chicken, right? So the CMO at KFC, she did a very smart thing. She took out full-page ads, basically saying, in beautiful English, fuck, right? She changed the logo around. We fucked up, right? So the conclusion of this is news media advertising works. Well, no, because only about 12% of the British population saw these newspaper ads. Most of them saw it and talked about it on social media. And right there is the thing we've all forgotten. The synergy. The newsworthiness, the editorial quality of news advertising multiplied by the interactivity and good reach of social media. It's the same in America. The winning campaign will obviously be the Nike campaign with Kaepernick. Started with outdoor, moved to a TV ad, loads of social media actions, followed by press coverage. Multiplicative stuff, synergies, integration, all working together in a campaign. This is the thing we've forgotten as a result of the 10-year war between who has the best media, who has the most efficiency, the best profitability. The lost formula of great campaign planning is this. A times B will always be greater than 2A or 2B. What the fuck does that mean? It means you take any two media, TV and digital video, combining them together will always give you a better return than spending all of it on TV or spending all of it on digital video. And you can do this with anything. You can change it to search and digital video. Always give you a better result than spending it all on one thing. Synergies, interaction, multiplicity, campaigns again. Let me prove it to you. This data comes from analytics partners, kind of like Ubiquity in the US. Analytics partners analyzed 3,500 campaigns, okay? 29% of them only used one platform. That might have been TV or radio or Facebook or search. But around 31% of these campaigns used two. And after you control for budget, when you have two platforms rather than one, the incremental additional ROI is 19%, just because you had two rather than one, whatever the two was. If you had a third platform, it goes up to 23% over one platform. If you had four, it goes up by 31%. Five, it goes up by 35%. It never stops. Provided you've got the budget, spread your money across multiple tools. This might be Screenforce, but I'm not telling you TV is the best tool. That's not right. The right answer is yes, yeah, is integration. Now, having said that, there are certain tools that play better with others, that when you add them to a mix, give you a better catalytic effect. It's pretty impressive when you look at the effect of radio. You get a 17% uplift. If you add outdoor, a 20%. But again, if you add TV to your campaigns, at least based on the Australian data we've got, you get a 29% overall uplift in ROI. TV gives you that interaction. So let me conclude by showing you an example. So one of the great brands I work with is Westpac, which is one of the big banks of Australia. We've been kind of doing this for a year. Yeah, we got Les Bennett over. We believe in what he's saying. We're applying it to our marketing and media. And so what do? Well, we combine, and I can't tell the exact ratio, but it's the one suggested by Field and Burnett. We've moved more of our money back to long term. We're still doing our short-term stuff, yeah? And we're very proud of our in-house programmatic digital teams. But we've got a different ratio now. So we still have target segments. If one of our target segments goes online and starts looking at holidays and stuff, we'll run our very tasty digital display ads, yeah? And we'll try and get them to click through and blah, blah, blah. We do all of that. But much more of our budget has gone back to TV. We've gone for emotional. We've gone for mass reach. We've gone for huge impact TV. And it's working. Not because the TV's doing it, but the TV is having a catalytic effect on all of the short-term activation as well. And we're surging because of it. So here's our latest TV campaign. Emotional, brand-based. Westpac's positioning is we're here to help. And the best of what TV can do, not just for Westpac, but for you as well.
I'll never find
Everyone keeps asking us, what are we selling? And we're not. We're not activating with that. We're building our brand. We've gone back to something, and it's working for us. So, in summary, it's been a hell of a decade. We've been through more, you and I, than any other decade in the history of media, right? And it's still changing. I believe advertisers have an automatic bias towards digital media. I think it's gone too far. Of course you must invest in digital. There's some wonderful tools. They're the best short-term activation tools out there. But the dial has moved too far. Look at what that guy from Ubiquity is saying. Does he look like a bullshitter to you? He has nothing to sell, yeah? He's telling you it's not what it's claimed to be. TV remains dominant, not dead, despite what marketers think. And it's not your fault, it's the TV industry's fault for totally fucking failing to communicate how superior they are. It's one of the great marketing fuck-ups of all time. It is, right? 92% and no one knows it. But having said that, the power of integration tells you there is no superior tool. TV isn't the best tool. It really fucking helps in certain areas. You should mix them together. I don't know what a digital marketer is going to do because they're biased straight away, but good marketers are going to mix them all together. The long and the short of it is the big thought that will dominate your career. It's a practical theory. It's a great book. It's based on huge amounts of data, and it's going to change the way you do marketing. Because most of you, and again, it's not your fault, you've done the short term too much. Your effectiveness is going to go down. The long of it is missing. It's time to come back to building brand, so the short of it will make you even more money. The role of TV to drive the long of it is unrivaled. The emotion, the reach, and the impact is like nothing else we've ever seen. But we're in for another hell of a decade. And although I come from the future, I can't tell you what's going to happen next. But I can tell you that TV set on the walls of people all over the Netherlands will continue to be the dominant technology for advertising for the next 15 years. Thank you.